Hello and welcome back to the channel. Sorry, I'm just a bit of a cold. It's very hot, very stuffy, and I've had a few beers. So, Japan, Xbox is doing well in Japan at the moment. So back in June, this is just over a month old. It was reported that Xbox is doing really well in Japan. People are going to say it's not doing as well as PS5. No, because the Japanese. This is the thing you have to get across. The Japanese are very loyal to their country, exceptionally loyal. They don't like importing. They mainly just export. They are very picky. Their government's very choosy, and their management, their businesses are very strict on what they can and can't have in and out of the country. So you've got to take that into account. And they most certainly do not welcome big companies, big American companies like Microsoft in. Apple just about made it in, but only because they are a massive mobile market thing in Japan. They love mobile gaming. They love mobile phones. They love everything small and minute, and that's what they're into. This is why they're hoping xCloud makes it big in Japan, because they're much more into your mobile gaming. They're not really into your PC as much or your console gaming. They're all about mobile gaming. They're on the trot. They work a lot. They work hard, and they work crazy hours. And a lot of them just game on the go. Sorry, that's my chest. Yes, so it's reported that Xbox is actually doing well. It's actually done phenomenally well, and it's shown the largest growth they've seen ever out of all their markets. So they're in America, they're in all of Europe, and they're all over the place basically. But the largest growth has been seen in Japan. Now this doesn't necessarily mean they're selling 20 million units. This just means the growth. Explain growth now in America, which they're selling really well. Last year, because this is based on last year, so last year the growth would have been good for Xbox, for example. This year is more or less the same, so the growth is sort of just more or less the same. Whereas in Japan, last generation, I should say, with Xbox One, it just didn't pick up. They didn't like the Xbox One. They didn't like show it the power of it. And as I said, once again, it's really hard when you're trying to break into a market that really doesn't like. You really have to try hard. They don't really like your company. So when they say the growth, what they're doing is they're comparing it to last console. So the last console, I think, only sold in the hundreds. But the Xbox Series X is selling in the thousands, which is a lot for this product, which is a lot for an American product in America. And the more units you get into their ecosystem, the more people they're going to see it. And then once things like xCloud comes out and Game Pass and things, that will grow and mature. That's what they're sort of hoping to do. So I saw this. So yeah, so the growth is great for Xbox, great for the company themselves, Microsoft and stuff. And it's good that the Japanese are starting to see the consoles. Well, I like this. I mean, the shape's great. It's perfect for them. It's small. It's pick up and carry it around. The old console shapes are not just ideal. And it's great that they're finally breaking into. It's quite small, but they are actually breaking into Japan, and Japan have actually looked at this generation compared to last generations. And the Xbox Series X is I think their highest selling console, Xbox console in Japan so far. So that's great news for the Japanese market. It's brilliant. But let's go on to other stuff. Let's now move on to MPD. So last month, June 2021, MPD, Xbox Series X and S consoles led in dollar sales. The Nintendo Switch sold the most units. So yes, they've both actually trumped the PlayStation. Switch sold most units. The Xbox made more money. So a lot of fanboys saying, oh, that's because it's got the Xbox Series S. Well, firstly, you've got idiots that saying, yeah, but there's two Xbox SKUs on the market. There's actually two PlayStation SKUs. There's the PlayStation disc and the PlayStation Digital, which is £100 cheaper than the disc version. So there's two PlayStation SKUs in the market. Soon to be free, but that's another story. So there's two PlayStation SKUs in the market, as well as two Xboxes. Secondly, people saying, yes, that's because everyone was buying Xbox Series S's. Bear in mind, the Xbox Series S is £200 cheaper than PlayStation. So for them to have made more money than PlayStation, that means they must have sold twice as many Xbox Series S's than PlayStation 5s. So even if they are selling PlayStation 5s, PlayStation S's, and that's what you're trying to claim, they're selling more of them. For one, who cares? Two, they're making more money than PlayStation. Three, if they are selling them, they must be selling them 2 to 1 compared to PlayStation 5. So there must be 2 Xboxes being sold to every one PlayStation 5. So however you look at this as a PlayStation fan, you can't damage control the success of the Xbox Series X. Off the back of that, this is the thing I find. Remember, we just followed up from E3, which has been told that everyone is irrelevant. We had E3 in June. So this is really off the back of E3 and the success for Microsoft off the back of E3. Bear in mind, Ratchet & Clank also launched, which is their big first-party AAA franchise. Ratchet & Clank also released in June, but still the Xbox outsold it and made more money than the PlayStation 5, despite Ratchet & Clank. So there's that banger down the drain. So yeah, going forward, I mean, I don't care about console sales. What I care about the profit, and it's great to see this company making profit because they're putting so much into it. The upside of this, of course, is the more money they make, the more consoles units they put out, and the more market reach they get, and the more users what they get, because this is what they want. Users, they don't care about really console sales. They care about the user install base growing. The bigger user install base grows, the more they get into Game Pass. The more they get into Game Pass. Now, what they're doing at the moment, the last recording in January was 23 million Game Pass subs, I believe it was, or around that. What was it, 18 million in January, and then it's estimated around 23 million. They've more or less, I think, what they're looking to do as a business is once they reach around 40, 50 million subscribers, I think their goal is then to drop Gold Live. Xbox Live. They're looking to drop that once they've got about 50 million subscribers, because the 50 million subscribers in Game Pass Ultimate will then subsidise the Xbox, and you will not need Xbox Live anymore. So that will be gone. All you need is Game Pass. So the Xbox console, if you don't want Game Pass, is free. It will be a free-to-play console, much like the PC, and I think that's where they're going. They're trying to go with the PC. The thing with this, though, if that happens, and that's where I think they're definitely going, and that's why they're trying to push Game Pass, I think they're definitely looking to drop Xbox Live Gold, which would be a massive thorn in the side of Sony if they do that. Because do you honestly think Sony will now drop PS Now? PS Plus? PS Plus. Do you think Sony will drop PS Plus if Xbox drops Xbox Live Gold? Because as it stands, that basically keeps PlayStation going. The subs and the money they make from that keeps them going. The only way they can do that is then to do what Xbox is doing and create a sustainable subscription service like Game Pass. The only way they can do that is make PS Plus better. The only way they can do that is by putting games on there day one and also putting the games to PC. Otherwise, there is no reason to buy PS Plus. So, I think in the long run, Sony will be doing that. And they will have to do that to stay relevant and to compete with Xbox. But this is, as it stands, this is where Xbox is going. Will they win next month's MPD? This is before even the big games. There's no big game. Remember, Sony's come out with all these big games, but it's gone really dry. Whereas Xbox have they're starting to just wind up that punch now and just getting ready to throw that sucker punch. They're still winding up, and they've still got all their games to drop. We've got this year. We've got Forza Horizon 5. We've got Xbox. We've got Microsoft Flight Sim. We've got Ascent about to drop. They've got Thingy on Game Pass, Back for Blood. We've got Stalker 2 releases early next year. We've got Microsoft Flight Sim to that. Forza Horizon 5 said that. Halo Infinite, of course. We've got that. There's so many games. Crossfire X. I think that the Crossfire X still will make this year. There's so many games ready to drop. And I've just had Death's Door, which has done really well and was successful. They've got so many games yet to drop, and that's just this year. They're really going to start just smashing these games out there. And then next year we've got, as I said, Stalker 2, that's third party. But then you've got the likes of your very avowed Forza Motorsport. That most likely drop next year. You've got confirmed is Starfield. You've probably got your... I've said it in another video. Can't think of it now. There is another game that's set to drop in 2022, another first party game. And then you've got all your third parties to follow in with that. You've got your Warhammers, you've got your Gunk, you've got Your Arc 2, you've got so many other big third-party titles in there. They've got Xbox is looking to really just go at it, and the best way to do that is through Game Pass, and this is what I think now why they're pushing it, so they can do that, so they can drop live subscriptions. But will they win MPD next month? Hard to tell. Probably not. I reckon they might drop off. It depends on things like the success of Microsoft Flight Sim, the success of Ascent that's dropping in 6 days. I think they're both dropping in about a week. 6 days to Ascent, and then probably about a week to Microsoft's Flight Sim. So will it pick up next month? Unsure, unclear. But then we've got Forza Horizon and Halo Infinite, which could then win them another month. And then the more they sort of get in there and get in the market share, and a lot of people are moving over from Xbox from PlayStation 5 at the moment because they're seeing a lot of misleading advertising. They've got real gamers, not fanboys, real gamers are waking up. You're seeing a lot of misleading advertising and seeing like Xbox and PlayStation Horizon's got nothing. They've announced nothing. They've just pulled out of Gamescom as well. They didn't turn up to E3. They've just pulled out of Gamescom. They're not really got much to show at the moment. So moving forward, this is great for Xbox. Liking what they're doing. Massive turnaround from last generation, especially that Don Matrix. Phil's doing a great job for them. Microsoft must be just loving him at the moment, and he must be the man at the moment. So, and the team in general doing great. The devs are doing great, and everything's so positive from them, and that's what's great. And they're very open to the gamers. But let me know what you think below. I want to hear your thoughts and see your comments. Please share this out. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye for now.